a full trailer for Skeleton Crew. And it is fantastic. Oh my God, it's so good.
I love it. I love it. Goonies in space. I love it. It's perfect.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Disney's released a new trailer for their upcoming series, officially called Star Wars Skeleton Crew. That's cute. They're going back to putting Star Wars in the title. Remember, that was Kathleen Kennedy's big thing that got shelved after the second outing lost money. Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and Solo, a Star Wars story. I'm guessing Skeleton Crew, a Star Wars story, would have just reminded Bob Iger that a Star Wars story was attached to the only Star Wars film to ever lose money.
Hey, Bob.
The fact that Disney keeps pushing that this show is Star Wars for kids clearly shows how far Disney has moved away from the original concept of Star Wars. As everyone knows, Star Wars was originally intended for kids. The fact that it resonated with families and people of all ages was a reflection of the quality and storytelling. But now, after so much garbage that culminated in lesbian witches howling at the moon and Sith dudes swinging some dick, Disney now has to state that the new Star Wars show is for kids.
What are you in for?
And of course the Disney shills have fallen into line, laying the groundwork in defending this show by threatening critics that if they dare criticise the children in this show, there will be trouble. And we all know that one of the Disney shills' favourite go-tos is rehashing their version of what happened to Jake Lloyd and how the public turned on him. They say that even though Jake Lloyd's mother came out and clearly stated that the story about the public going after Jake Lloyd was never true, that didn't deter the Disney shills at all. And they'll be praying that the kids in a Skeleton Crew cop some criticism so they can jump straight on their soapbox for some social media points, defending the poor children from an enemy that doesn't exist. From what we know about Hollywood, I think the kids will need protection, but it won't be from the critics.
What did you do? We're lost.
I guarantee that we'll get a Protect the Kids story from the media the week before this show drops. Luckily, even though the Disney fans would have you not believe it, adults produce these shows. So, if Skeleton Crew is terrible, we're allowed to say it, and I will be. Don't worry about that. I see Nick Frost has a role in playing SM-33. I do love how Nick Frost and Simon Pegg together made careers out of shitting on George Lucas's prequels.
It's been 18 months, Daisy, and it still hurts.
Well, I didn't think Phantom Menace was that bad.
They have both lined up to suckle at the Disney Star Wars teat. Good luck to them, I suppose, but they might want to apologise to George Lucas.
I've had a few things to work through, you know.
With Sarah.
No, with George Lucas.
I'm no huge fan of the prequels, but they're fucking The Godfather compared to most of the absolute shite Disney has been pumping out.
Kids like Jar Jar. Why? What about the Ewoks? Hey, they were rubbish. You don't complain about them.
Yeah, but Jar Jar Binks makes the Ewoks look like fucking Shaft.
We also have Jude Law in this series. He's like a proper movie star, which is unusual for a Disney Star Wars series. We usually get someone we know from the prequels to get those eyes on screen, and then they fill the cast with TV actors we've never heard of before, who can't act. But on the bright side, the Blue Elephant character seems to have more acting range than Amanda Sternberg, so that's an improvement. And for how this show looks, well, so far I'm not a fan. Now don't get me wrong, any Star Wars show not set on a desert planet is a huge bonus. But with George's films, you really felt like you were in a galaxy far, far away. This show looks like a near-future Earth in a Marvel universe, complete with bespeckled Mr. Huxtable.
Do you understand?
This dude, he goes against one of George Lucas's most simple ideas. George's simple rule of not showing zippers, buttons, and glasses, as George thought they looked too earthly, because he was trying to create an aesthetic for his universe. He wanted the audience to escape and not be reminded of daily life. He was being an artist. Well, that idea's all dead and buried. We now have everyone looking like they're straight out of Stranger Things, living in a near-future housing estate with grass front lawns and scale-electric roads. The OT gave us flying cars, and this world has a technology that if your neighbour's car breaks down outside of his house, you can't get past him to go to work. Need to go to the hospital quickly? Well, you better hope no one's driving slow in that one-lane town. And I hope the hospital isn't in that direction, and you live on this side of the street, because you can only turn right out of your house.
Something's wrong.
They're not going to just turn up.
Bad ideas seem to evolve with Disney. Ahsoka had road highways built for floating vehicles. Now this show has decided to outdo that by attaching every car to a single track, like a kid's playset. Instead of looking like a galaxy far, far away, this looks like one of those videos from the past predicting what the year 2000 would look like.
All things on the safety autoway.
All traffic moving in normal pattern.
And this could all look fine for a new property that wasn't Star Wars, but this is Star Wars, a name they should really give a rest. And the bloody darkness. I've said this many, many times. Disney, buy some lights. Every show they make is filled with underlit garbage scenes, obviously trying to cover up the blending of bad effects and sets, which is a strain on the eyes to watch. Why is everything so bloody dark? And this is meant to be a kid's show.
You need to take the controls.
Okay.
This is a kid's fantasy show, and these aren't even meant to be creepy scenes. This is meant to be a good time fantasy romp with a bit of comedy thrown in, and this is the lighting they've gone for.
Okay.
Neil? Neil?
The original 6 films only had a few of what we might call dark scenes, and they were always used in a way that was relevant to the story. The people they hire to make this garbage don't seem to understand that not every situation requires a heavy dark lighting with a muted palette. And what's worse is that these scenes aren't just dark, they are completely underlit and look like they belong in a low-budget slasher film from the 80s, not a Star Wars fantasy show made for kids by a billion-dollar corporation. And to be fair, most of the people making 80s slasher films had way more passion and talent than modern Lucasfilm.
I found something buried in the woods.
Star Wars is no longer a world that kids dream of living in. It's either dark, miserable, a corporate office block, or a boring hospital waiting room. There's zero imagination, and I'm sick of straining my eyeballs to peer into the dark to try and see what the bloody hell's going on. Where do they colour grade these bloody shows? Inside a black hole? And add to this the glam rock soundtrack, and we are now just making the kids' edition of Guardians of the Galaxy.
We're not alone down here.
This world and look is now just 100% Marvel. It wouldn't look out of place for Star-Lord, Drax and Rocket to walk into a scene. Which means we now have to have pop songs in Star Wars. And of course, the shills love it.
Use a Star Wars alien language to sing. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is perfect.
Well, I can't believe they used a cover of Peter Schilling's Major Tom and they had it sung in Huttese. That's so fucking cool.
I loved the song choice.
Also, Star Wars, can you please release just the full track of this cover?
So we get a quick introduction of the kids, and fear not everybody, yes, we seem to have our smarmy female lead. Thank God. I hope she's great at everything.
What did you do? Stay together.
We have 2 girls, a boy and a blue elephant wearing a toupee, who is apparently a completely different species to George Lucas's blue elephant creature, Max Rebo. You see, these days the real creativity is not coming up with a new character, it's just doing a young version of a character we already know, and then saying they're not the same species. You cynical bastard critics. The blue elephant is called Neil, after what Kathleen Kennedy has to do in front of Bob Iger. And you'll never guess it, the shills already love Neil.
Neil?
Look at Neil, like lifting his ear up.
I am so fucking charmed right
Oh,
now.
I would die for Neil.
Grown men and women excited for a new toy to buy.
He's Reluctant Space Daddy. Don't take
I will
away
accept
my
nothing else.
Don't take that away from me.
That's Reluctant Space Daddy. Favorite genre of all time.
Very cool.
Jesus. The main requirement to be a reaction channel is to be able to pull the biggest facial expression you possibly can to any random thing that happens in the trailer, as well as just say words that relate to what is on screen.
Look at all the aliens! Jude Law. Booby traps. Booby traps. Yes! The treasure room!
It looks like the kids find a spaceship and get lost in space, where Jude Law decides to help them in some deal where they go looking for treasure. I hope Spielberg's getting a cut of this show because they're ripping him off big time.
I found something buried in the woods.
Now, I totally missed the trailer that came out for this show 2 months ago. Didn't even know it existed. And that's a far better trailer. But my God, they are trying to get the Stranger Things crowd. Which is a bit sad, because there was a time when everyone wanted to copy Star Wars. Well, those days are long gone. Now Star Wars, the once champion of film, just hopes to be a half-watchable copy of other TV shows. What a sad decline.
If I was a kid in a strange cockpit in a ship, like, I'd be touching stuff too.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
Now, the real question is, are there any kids left to watch this show? Because the only people left watching Disney Star Wars is the effeminate male Funko Pop collectors and the shippers who lusted over the stranger. I don't know any kids still watching Star Wars. Did anyone see any kids dressed as Star Wars characters for Halloween? I know I didn't, and the dads that would normally be looking forward to sharing this with their kids have been told for years now that Star Wars is no longer for them. Case in point, the Acolyte. And that disaster of a show that was made for the Funko Pop guys and shippers failed to get viewers. Let's hope they're starting to learn their lesson and that Star Wars skeleton crew goes back to some fun storytelling that avoids lesbian witch covens and male nudity. And maybe, just maybe, kids and their parents will start watching Star Wars again.
Guys, I think this trailer is bonkers good. This is